9 disturbing sexual behaviors of narcissists that you need to know about. Sexual relationships can be complex and multifaceted, but when you're dealing with a narcissist, the dynamics take on a whole different level of manipulation, control, and disregard for personal boundaries. Narcissists often appear charming, confident, and full of charisma, especially in the beginning of a relationship. But behind the scenes, their behavior can be harmful, unsettling, and deeply manipulative. In this video, we'll explore 9 disturbing sexual behaviors that are common in narcissistic individuals and how they can impact their partners. If you've ever wondered why someone you're dating or in a relationship with seems to prioritize their own needs, desires, and fantasies above yours, or even seems incapable of genuine emotional connection, it could be because they are narcissistic. The reality of being involved with a narcissist can be difficult to understand without first recognizing these disturbing behaviors. But what if you could spot these warning signs from the start? Imagine how much easier it would be to avoid being caught in a web of emotional manipulation, false intimacy, and self-centered sexual interactions. If you want to protect yourself and avoid being hurt in relationships with narcissists, stick around until the end. We'll discuss how you can recognize these toxic patterns and what you can do to protect your emotional and physical well-being. Before we dive deeper into these disturbing behaviors, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who may be navigating a difficult relationship. Understanding narcissistic behavior can be the key to finding healthier connections and avoiding toxic dynamics. Now, let's get started. Understanding narcissism and its impact on sexual behavior. Narcissism is more than just arrogance or self-centeredness. It is a personality disorder that leads individuals to prioritize their own needs and desires over those of others, often without any concern for the emotional or physical well-being of others. This disregard for others' feelings can translate into the most intimate areas of life, particularly in sexual relationships. For narcissists, sex is often about validation, control, and gratification. They might view sexual intimacy as a way to assert their power or to receive constant affirmation of their desirability and attractiveness. In contrast to healthy sexual relationships, where mutual respect, consent, and emotional connection are valued, narcissists tend to exploit their partners for their own selfish gain. It's not unusual for the narcissistic individual to disregard the needs, feelings, and autonomy of their partner, seeing them as an object or a tool to fulfill their desires. This self-centered approach to intimacy is both emotionally and physically harmful. Narcissists may manipulate, control, and emotionally harm their partners to maintain their sense of superiority. The emotional toll this takes on a partner is often profound, leaving them feeling confused, unworthy, or drained. Now let's look at 9 disturbing sexual behaviors often exhibited by narcissists that you need to be aware of. The 9 disturbing sexual behaviors of narcissists. 1. Using sex as a tool for control. For narcissists, sex is rarely about connection or mutual pleasure. Instead, it can be a powerful tool to assert control over their partner. Narcissists often use sex to dominate or manipulate their partner, reinforcing their sense of superiority and control. They may withhold sex as a form of punishment or use it as a reward to encourage behavior that aligns with their wishes. This creates a toxic dynamic in which the partner feels as though they are constantly performing to gain affection or approval. Narcissists thrive on this imbalance of power and use it to their advantage, making sex an exchange rather than an act of intimacy. 2. Lack of empathy during intimacy. One of the most disturbing traits of narcissists in sexual relationships is their complete lack of empathy. Healthy sexual relationships are built on mutual respect, care, and understanding. Narcissists, however, are incapable of offering this kind of emotional connection during intimate moments. They are often so focused on their own pleasure and validation that they fail to recognize or care about their partner's desires, feelings, or comfort. This lack of empathy can make sex with a narcissist feel mechanical, emotionally detached, and even emotionally abusive. 3. Gaslighting and emotional manipulation in sexual encounters. Narcissists are notorious for their gaslighting tactics, and this behavior can carry over into sexual relationships as well. Gaslighting involves manipulating someone into questioning their own reality, memories, or perceptions. In a sexual context, a narcissist might make their partner feel guilty for expressing discomfort or refusal, insisting that the partner is being too sensitive or imagining things. This emotional manipulation makes it difficult for the partner to trust their own instincts or assert their boundaries, leading to feelings of self-doubt and confusion. 4. Constant need for validation and praise. Narcissists thrive on admiration and constant validation, and this need doesn't disappear when it comes to their sexual behavior. They may demand excessive praise during or after sex, expecting their partner to constantly affirm their physical attractiveness or sexual prowess. This behavior can feel draining and performative for the partner, who is left feeling more like a cheerleader than an equal participant in the relationship. For the narcissist, any lack of praise or appreciation can trigger feelings of anger or rejection, as they view any slight against them as a personal attack. 5. Unrealistic expectations of sex and intimacy. Narcissists often have unrealistic expectations when it comes to sex and intimacy. They may expect their partner to be available for sex at all times, without considering their partner's needs, mood, or comfort. This self-centered approach can leave their partner feeling as though their own needs are completely irrelevant. In some cases, the narcissist may also expect their partner to meet unrealistic sexual demands or fantasies, and when those expectations aren't met, the narcissist may react with frustration or anger. 6. Sexual coercion and pressure. Another disturbing behavior common among narcissists is sexual coercion. Narcissists may push their partner into sex when they're not comfortable or interested, often using emotional manipulation to get what they want. They may guilt-trip their partner into agreeing to sex, making them feel as though they owe it to the narcissist, or that they will be punished if they refuse. In extreme cases, a narcissist may even threaten to end the relationship or withdraw affection if their partner doesn't comply with their sexual demands. 7. Lack of consideration for consent. In healthy sexual relationships, consent is essential. Unfortunately, narcissists often disregard the concept of consent entirely. They may ignore their partner's verbal or non-verbal cues of discomfort, dismissing them as unimportant or as attempts to control the narcissist. For the narcissist, their own needs take precedence, and they may believe that their partner is simply obliged to comply with whatever they want. This blatant disregard for consent can make sex with a narcissist feel like an obligation rather than a shared consensual experience. 8. Cheating and infidelity. Narcissists often struggle with commitment, not because they lack the ability to form attachments, but because they crave attention and validation from multiple sources. They may cheat on their partners regularly, seeing it as a way to fulfill their need for admiration and to maintain their sense of superiority. Narcissists typically see their infidelity as a way to affirm their desirability and power, often rationalizing their actions as justified or insignificant. Their lack of empathy and their need to maintain control can make it difficult for their partner to confront or address the issue, as the narcissist may become defensive or accuse the partner of being overly possessive. 9. Devaluation after sex. After the narcissist has received what they wanted, whether that's sex, admiration, or validation, they may suddenly shift from being charming and affectionate to cold and distant. This devaluation can be especially damaging to their partner, who is left feeling used and rejected. For narcissists, the act of sex is often about fulfilling their own needs, and once that need is satisfied, they may quickly lose interest in their partner, seeing them as less important or less valuable. This emotional roller coaster can leave the partner feeling confused, hurt, and questioning their worth. Sexual relationships with narcissists are often characterized by manipulation, control, and a complete disregard for mutual respect and emotional connection. Narcissists treat sex as a tool to fulfill their own desires, seeking constant validation and power over their partners. The disturbing behaviors outlined in this video are just a glimpse into the toxic dynamics that can unfold when one partner is a narcissist. If you've recognized any of these signs in your own relationships, it's important to take steps to protect yourself. Understanding narcissistic behavior can help you set boundaries, advocate for your own emotional and physical well-being, and recognize when it's time to walk away. Thank you for joining us in this discussion. If you found this information helpful, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with others who may benefit from understanding these complex behaviors. Stay strong and take care of yourself, because you deserve healthy, respectful relationships that nurture your well-being. Why are narcissists always frustrated when they are alone? Have you ever noticed how narcissists seem to be fueled by the attention and admiration of others? They appear to have an almost insatiable need for validation, and when that validation is stripped away, the resulting frustration becomes apparent. It's a curious phenomenon. Narcissists seem like they thrive in the limelight, constantly surrounded by admirers and sycophants. But what happens when they are left alone? When there is no one to praise them, no one to reflect their greatness back at them, narcissists find themselves facing an internal void that is both unfamiliar and uncomfortable. The mask of self-assurance slips, and what remains is a deeply insecure and often frustrated individual, struggling to fill the emptiness within. In this video, we will explore the profound reasons why narcissists are often so frustrated when left alone. Why does solitude seem to amplify their internal struggles? And why can't they simply find contentment within themselves, like many others? We will look at the psychological makeup of narcissists, their deep-seated need for admiration, and the reasons why isolation can become a form of emotional torture for them. Let's get started, and before we dive into the intricacies of narcissism, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who may benefit from a better understanding of narcissistic behavior. Narcissism is often misunderstood, but by learning more about it, we can navigate our interactions with narcissists more effectively. Stay with us as we unpack the hidden struggles of narcissists, especially when they find themselves alone and without the constant validation they so desperately crave. The narcissistic need for external validation. One of the most significant reasons narcissists are frustrated when they are alone is their deep, almost pathological need for external validation. Narcissists tend to define their sense of self-worth based on how others perceive them. Their identity is constructed through the feedback they receive from the outside world. Unlike people with more secure self-esteem, narcissists do not look within to validate their existence. Instead, they rely on others to constantly reaffirm their perceived greatness. From childhood, many narcissists learn that their value is determined by what they can do for others, how much attention they can garner, or how impressive their achievements appear to those around them. This external validation becomes essential to their sense of self, and without it, they feel lost. When alone, narcissists lack the reinforcement that comes from being admired, praised, or even feared. The absence of this external feedback creates a vacuum in their emotional world, which can lead to feelings of inadequacy, frustration, and even existential dread. Narcissists are not just seeking compliments or praise, they crave the adulation that fuels their belief in their own superiority. When they are isolated, without a constant stream of admiration, they begin to question their value. It's not that they can't survive on their own, it's that they can't feel good about themselves without the affection of others. Their worth is entirely bound to how they are perceived. Solitude, in this sense, becomes an unbearable void that amplifies their emotional vulnerabilities. The fear of exposure, insecurity behind the mask. A major factor that contributes to the frustration narcissists feel when alone is their underlying insecurity. Though narcissists are often seen as arrogant or even boastful, their behavior is a defense mechanism designed to protect them from their own deep feelings of inferiority. Narcissism is often rooted in low self-esteem and a fear of being exposed as less than perfect. Narcissists go to great lengths to construct an image of themselves as exceptional, often exaggerating their achievements and inflating their self-image. This is their attempt to shield themselves from the internal fear that they are unworthy or inadequate. When alone, however, the narcissist is confronted with the reality of their own vulnerability. There is no one around to reinforce their illusion of grandeur, and the mask of invincibility begins to slip. The fear of being found out becomes overwhelming, and without the distraction of constant external validation, narcissists are left to face their own self-doubt. The frustration they experience in solitude stems from this internal conflict. On one hand, they desperately want to feel superior, but on the other, they know deep down that their self-worth is fragile and dependent on the admiration of others. This dissonance creates emotional turmoil. When a narcissist is isolated, they become more acutely aware of their imperfections. Their minds start to focus on their flaws and vulnerabilities, as there is no one around to mask or cover up these insecurities. The very traits they try to suppress, such as fear of failure, fear of rejection, and feelings of inferiority, become more pronounced in solitude. This leads to frustration, anger, and sometimes even depression. The narcissist feels trapped in a cycle of self-loathing, unable to reconcile their need for external validation with their internal sense of inadequacy. The lack of emotional regulation, difficulty in self-soothing. Narcissists often lack the emotional regulation skills that many people rely on to maintain emotional balance during periods of solitude. Healthy individuals, when faced with loneliness, may turn inward and reflect, engage in self-care, or seek out activities that help them feel emotionally fulfilled. However, narcissists are typically not equipped with these tools. They are not capable of soothing themselves or finding comfort within their own thoughts. Instead, their emotional regulation depends entirely on external sources. When narcissists are alone, they struggle with managing their emotions. The absence of outside validation means they are left to confront their internal turmoil without the distraction of external attention. Narcissists often lack the emotional tools necessary to cope with negative feelings such as shame, guilt, or self-doubt. Instead of processing these emotions constructively, they often repress them or project them onto others. In isolation, These emotions become harder to ignore, leading to frustration. The lack of emotional regulation makes solitude a particularly painful experience for narcissists. They are uncomfortable with introspection because it forces them to face their vulnerabilities. Instead of reflecting on their feelings and working through them, they avoid confronting these emotions by seeking out validation from others. When isolated, however, there are no distractions, and the emotional weight becomes overwhelming. The fear of abandonment and loneliness. Another significant reason narcissists are frustrated when they